Hi, in this video we are going to discuss BFD. BFD stands for Bidirectional Forwarding Detection, and the BFD feature is similar to the IP link feature in the sense that this is also used for checking the connectivity or checking the reachability of a particular destination, and as long as the destination is reachable, the firewall or the router will keep forwarding, or any device will keep forwarding traffic through that particular link or through that particular path. However, if that link becomes unavailable or is down, then the firewall can forward traffic through an alternate link that we have configured on the firewall. So if you look at BFD, you can see that these two devices, they are exchanging BFD packets with each other, or they are exchanging BFD control messages with each other. And normally these devices, they can be either firewalls or routers, whichever supports BFD, bidirectional forwarding detection. BFD works in asynchronous mode, which means that each device is going to be sending BFD control messages to each other without waiting for the traffic or without waiting for the packet from the other side. It's not in response to any particular packet. They just keep sending or keep exchanging packets independently of the action from the other side. And if one of the firewalls or one of the devices does not receive a BFD packet for a certain period of time, three intervals or three hello intervals by default, then it will assume that the other side is not available and it has gone down. And once again, in this scenario, we can have a particular implementation or we can have a particular response from the firewall. The two devices, whether it's the router or the firewall, the two devices that are exchanging BFD control messages, they create a session or they establish a session with each other by exchanging the BFD control messages. So the router A in this case, or device A, is sending BFD control messages to device B or router B, and router B is sending BFD control messages to router A in asynchronous fashion. What happens, or the information contained in these messages hold the my discriminator and your discriminator information. These discriminators are actually local and remote identifiers for these two devices. So router A is going to have a local identifier called my discriminator on router A, and router A will look at router B's discriminator as your discriminator. So the two devices exchange these informations with each other, or the discriminator information with each other, through which they identify each other and establish a session using this particular information. And when these messages are being exchanged between these devices, there are different states through which these devices go through, or through which these devices go before the session is established. So initially they are in the down state. Once they start exchanging the messages, they are in the init state, and finally when they have established a session, they reach the up state. And if we have configured, or if we have administratively turned off the BFD, then the status would be in admin down state. This status information of BFD session is carried in the status field or star field within the control messages that are being exchanged between the two devices. And if you look at how this transition takes place from down to init to up, you can look at this slide and you can see that initially this star or the status information is being exchanged between the two devices is down, then it transitions to init state, and then finally it moves to the up state, and then it remains in the up state unless there is a lack of connectivity, or if one of the devices or the link between these two devices goes down. If you look at the configuration of BFD, you can see that similar to IP link configuration, which we saw in the last video, you go to system, you go to high availability, then you go to BFD, you enable BFD, and then you add a BFD session. You name the BFD session, give a name to the session, and then you configure the peer IP address, which is going to be used for testing the connectivity, which means that this is going to be tested by this particular device. This is the IP address of the remote BFD peer. So if you look at one of the scenarios, for example, you can see that this is this firewall here. This firewall is checking the connectivity with a particular device. For example, in this case, router A. It is checking the connectivity with router A, and these two devices are exchanging BFT messages with each other. So if the reachability or if the BFT messages are being exchanged between these two devices, then the BFT status would be up. If the BFT status goes down, then this firewall using VRRP or VGMP, as we discussed previously with IP-Link, then these two firewalls can change the status, and this firewall, which was previously the active firewall, can become the standby, and this firewall can become the active firewall, and the traffic will start flowing through this firewall towards the internet. In order to configure BFT, the configuration is fairly simple and similar to the IP-Link configuration. And in the command line, this is how we configure BFT. First of all, we enable BFT, and then we define BFT, give BFT number 1. For example, we can create multiple BFT sessions with multiple peers. So this is the first peer that we are creating a BFT session. We bind it to peer IP address 1.1.1.2, and once in this session 1, we define the local discriminator as 10 and the remote discriminator on the other firewall or on the router as 20. So 10 is our local discriminator and 20 is our remote discriminator, and finally we commit this configuration on the firewall. And on the router side, on the other side of the BFT session, the other peer, once again we enable BFT, we give the BFT session ID as 1, we bind the peer IP address, which is the IP address of the firewall, 10.100.30.2. We define the local discriminator on the firewall as 20 and the remote discriminator as 10. You can see that these discriminator values are reversed on the two devices. And finally, we give the commit command so that this configuration becomes applicable, or this configuration is applied. And once we have configured the BFT, then we can use the BFT information to track HRP, or HRP can use this information or track this BFT session information. So we give the HRP track BFT session 10 command. This 10 is the local discriminator. On the firewall, we'll issue the command HRP track BFT session 10, which, as you remember in the previous slide, that this 10 is the local discriminator which has been configured against this session on the local firewall. So this means that HRP is going to track the status of BFT session 10, or BFT local discriminator 10. If this goes down, if BFT shows that the connectivity with the remote router is down, then the HRP Huawei redundancy protocol can switch the active and standby status of the two firewalls. And as I mentioned earlier as well, we are going to discuss HRP in more detail in one of the subsequent videos. So this is how you configure HRP on your firewall. If you want to look at the status of BFT on your firewall, you can simply give the display BFT configuration all command. This will show you the configuration status of BFT on your firewall. And if you want to look at the, and once again, as we saw earlier, you can use BFT in the hot standby scenario where two firewalls are working as active backup or active standby. Firewall A is being used for forwarding the traffic, and firewall A is running BFT with router A. As soon as the connectivity goes down between firewall A and router A, since HRP on firewall A is tracking the BFT session between the firewall and the router, as soon as HRP knows that router A is no more reachable, it is immediately going to switch over the traffic from firewall A towards firewall B, which means that now the traffic is going to be moving through firewall B instead of going through the firewall A. So in this way, BFT is supporting HRP to switch traffic or to move traffic from firewall A to firewall B if anything goes wrong with this path. Session information on the firewall, you can issue the display BFT session all command. This is going to show you the status of different sessions, BFT sessions that are currently up on your firewall. If we compare the two, that is BFD and IP-Link, you can see that BFD and IP-Link are fairly similar in the functionality they provide to us. However, the major difference is that BFD detects the status of the link or detects the outage in our network much more quickly as compared to the IP-Link. So therefore, BFD is generally used more frequently in highly critical networks as compared to IP-Link. However, a minor difference is that the control packets of BFD are larger in size as compared to the IP-Link packets. However, 24 bytes or 4 or 8 bytes, these are still fairly small overheads that we have on our network. So in any scenario, in any particular case, BFD generally should be the first choice. So this is the basic difference between BFD and IP-Link, and I hope you understand the basic concepts, the configuration and deployment scenarios for BFD. In the next video, let's discuss the hot standby feature, in which we will discuss the VRRP, VGMP and HRP. So see you in the next video.